Namaste and good evening. Welcome to the Rasa Cafe. I'm JC Yogi. Thank you so much for being here with me tonight, wherever you are on this planet, whether you're in the UK, America, Europe, Asia, or anywhere else. Thank you for being again here. Just make sure if you're not watching this one online straight, and you can always watch it back somewhere else at some other time. And also I'm recording on another phone to load it on YouTube. So I will tell you when I load it as well on YouTube channel. So Happy New Year. If I haven't spoken to you, I haven't seen you, or I haven't phoned you, I hope this year treating you well. Tonight tonight in the UK, maybe in the morning, wherever you are, I have a tofu steak with some nice rainbow of vegetables and some coriander, a salsa. Okay, and of course Mediterranean couscous. So along here, my kitchen is a little tiny, so hopefully you can see everything I'm doing. I have the coriander, and I have a lot of vegetable preps, and I have water for the couscous. So I have the vegetables, like I say, is a rainbow of color. So we have baby courgette, I'm using fennel, I'm using stem broccoli, flat mushroom, peppers, and of course red onion. And what I'm gonna do is it's gonna take this about 25 minutes roughly to 30 minutes a dish. So now I'm coming out once a month to give you a full meal, like a starter from scratch and finish off everything. So I'm gonna start on the couscous. In the couscous, I put water, I put the vegetable stock, I put a squeeze of lemon, I grated some lemon, and turmeric, coriander, cumin, and of course salt and pepper. Let me just check if there's who's online. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and welcome. I'm gonna boil the water, and I'm using any type of couscous. It's up to you. I'm using the fine one. I'm using the normal brand. You don't have to be branded couscous. You can be anything you want. You can even use a whole wheat couscous. I think on the recipe I put a chickpea can. You can of course use a chickpea can. I soak this overnight and I boil them. So I have a plenty of chickpea. I do a lot of hummus and other stuff. So now while the water is running, I'm gonna put the oven on. I'm gonna heat up a pan. I'm gonna dry fry the vegetables because I want them to be really sharp a little bit. So we're gonna start with the onion, the mushroom, the broccoli, the peppers, and so on. And I put them on a tray and I whack them in the oven for about, maybe while the couscous is being ready and while my coriander dressing is ready as well. So this is gonna be nice and warm. I'm gonna make sure really, really hot. Please make sure you don't burn yourself, whatever you do, and be safe when you cook. And like I say, you can use any vegetables if you like. You can take off the peppers if you don't like. You can use the pointy peppers. You can do anything. So I'm gonna start with the mushroom, even though they would require a little bit of oil, but that's fine. I might drizzle. I'm using a rapeseed oil for frying, and of course I'm using olive oil in the dressing for the tofu. And then I use the tofu Cous, which is a smoked naked tofu. It's just very simple. I'll cut it into pieces at the end and I will put it on top of the couscous when it's cooked. I'm just gonna grab, one second, a thumb. If you have I don't have it anymore, the char grilled a pan, you can always use it. It's absolutely okay to use it. But it's okay, I'm using that as the oven, and I want them to be crunchy as well. I want them to be al dente. Also, the only thing I didn't add to the recipe was the couscous. I'm gonna add a little bit of sun-dried tomatoes. It's always gonna bring a little bit more flavor to it, especially with the coriander. Coriander, sun-dried tomatoes, yummy. So I'm gonna get these really sharp, really burn in a way-ish, not burn to the hamburger. You know what I mean? I hope this year treating you well. Here in the UK, I'm sure you're all aware, we are into a third lockdown. And it was, of course, miserable weather. But we're keeping positive. as usual. So otherwise you can hear the sizzling. That's what you need to hear in your kitchen. You need to hear the sizzling. And this is where, you know, you're shoring the vegetables and you give them this beautiful flavor as well. I won't season yet because I don't want to burn the seasoning. I want the season afterwards because remember, couscous is well seasoned and of course the coriander is beautifully seasoned as well. And I've got a pan here. You can put them all at least cook. They all cook at the same time your vegetables. And add broccoli. I'm gonna add, I've got fennel. I love the fennel. If you ever tried fennel, has this aniseed flavor and it's super yummy. Even raw. I use normally grated, you know, like a salad. You can do that. And when you cook the couscous, I don't know how and which way you cook your couscous. Simple way, you get your water to boil and then let it boil for a bit. And you can turn the heat off and you add the couscous and you let it cook in there. It doesn't need much cooking. You know, couscous can take, you know, not even 10 minutes to cook basically. But first get this, like the liquid in there, in the water, and then the stock and the vegetable stock and the lemon rind, and I squeeze the lemon in the water and I put the lemon in the water itself to get that flavor. But you need to boil it to get that flavor. I'm going to move the broccoli. That's done beautifully again. I'm going to add the onion. I mean, keep them whole. Like I cut the red onion in 4 roughly. If it's like too much onion for you, you can just do less onion, for example. And because the onion has a beautiful sweet kind of sugary there, it will burn and will give us lovely, especially when it's short like this or getting smoky here. I don't think my fire alarm, my smoke alarm will come off now. Right. I'm going to bring that pan a little bit over. I don't know whether you can see it's bubbling. Oh, the flavor is amazing. I'm going to leave it a little bit more flavor. And always try to stir. If you put like your dry bits like cumin, coriander, you can always obviously stir it to get that flavor fully in there. And again, you can put any flavor you want with the couscous when you're trying to cook it. So now, I'm going to go into the peppers and the, obviously, courgette. I'm using the baby courgette just for a bit more tenderness, more flavor. So I'm going to keep the onion a little bit more. I'm going to add the pepper, and lastly is going to be the courgette. And then my bowl is full. You see the color, the beautiful color, especially when it goes into the plate with the couscous. And also as well put turmeric. And I love my turmeric. I use a lot of turmeric, fresh and ground. And I use a lot of ground turmeric in this one. So now my water is boiling. I start to add, like you do the rice. So I'm cooking for 4 tonight. And I've got enough there to cover. I turn the heat off and gently stir it. And you let it rest. I'm gonna find a lid somewhere if I have. Okay, no worries. I'll use that instead for now. Right, this is coming nicely. Now you can tell the onions start to caramelize. So I'm going to turn them slightly. Even they start to kind of like fall off a little bit. It's absolutely okay with the onion. They're going to go all together. You can see my tray now start to get this beautiful colors. Add a teeny bit of oil. And now you can hear the sizzling going. And the onion goes into the tray. If you want, now the vegetables should go in the oven for about 12-15 minutes. No more than that. If you want them a bit more done, it's absolutely okay. It's up to you. You can. Now while this is going, I'm going to put the baby courgette. Now I can mix them up. That's fine. I have enough room in my tray. The only thing, the mushroom, I will add a little bit more oil. Because obviously I didn't put much oil in the pan when I sealed them. So they will require a bit more oil to bring the flavor of the mushroom. Then I season them with salt and pepper. No more, because you have enough flavor with the coriander dressing. Look at that. You can see the shard. I don't know if you know what I mean by that. Can you see that pepper, how it starts to shard? Like it starts to caramelize as well. And you retain the flavor as well. That's the beauty. So when you cook your vegetable like that, you always retain the flavor. It's a beautiful vegetable. I do eat a lot of raw as well, and it's juicy. So this is really super, super good for you. Especially in January. You know, you might overindulge over the festive period. So it's good to do that. So I have a little bit more room for this. So now this will go, look at that lovely color. I'm going to use the same pan because I got all the lovely vegetables for my tofu. So now this goes in the oven, does mark 6 or 7 roughly, and for about 12 minutes. Now I'm gonna just check. Oh, look at that. This is coming nicely now. So what happened, the water absorbs the couscous, and I'm gonna leave it for a little bit longer. And this is where you start to add, you know, some oil. Because that's gonna make it so fluffy. I'm gonna add chickpea. So roughly I've got about a can of chickpea. And I got, let's say, some sun-blushed tomato. So I'm going to use some of the oil of the sun-blushed tomato. Not much, because, you know, it's nicely there. And when you cut sun-dried tomatoes or sun-blushed tomatoes, just be careful because they can be quite tricky to cut. All you have to do, maybe in half or 3. I'm going to put them in there. I'm going to cover it one more time. Leave it to rest. Now I'm gonna do the dressing. I'm gonna just wash my hand quickly. Now I'm gonna do the dressing, and after that I'm gonna cut the tofu. Like I say, in this dressing I've got like about a bunch of coriander, a couple of garlic cloves, a little bit of chili just to give it a bit more flavor, salt and pepper, squeeze of half lemon, and of course some oil. And you can determine how much oil you want as you're going through. It's like if you're doing your pesto style basically. So this will go on. Need a little bit more oil, because this is like a dressing. You can use that dressing for, you know, this. If you do this coriander kind of like salsa, we'll call it. You know, it can last up to a week in the fridge. It's absolutely fine. And if you eat fish, it's lovely with the fish, especially cod or haddock. Looks good. Just gonna give it a little bit try. Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, the lemon, the garlic, the chili is coming on nicely. So leave that aside. So let's remember, I didn't season my vegetables. I was so mesmerized with the color of them. And it's like so amazing. So I'm using salt and pepper. I mean, if you want your vegetable to be a bit more as well seasoned, you can use some of the coriander dressing on it. But I'll show you later at the end of the, well, obviously the dish, how it's gonna be. You're gonna have a lot of dressing on that tofu, on the salad, on the couscous, and of course on the around the plate. So now this going to go there. Now we need this pan back on. So if you, I'm not sure what time is it, just let me check. How's everything doing? Hi everyone. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Right, so we got 15 minutes already gone. That's good. So now you can buy another type of tofu if you don't like this. You can buy the tofu in a brine or in water. The only thing with this one, because it's in water, you have to drain it and you have to press it. This one is lovely and it's already done for us and it's firm. That's why they call it like literally naked tofu, has no flavor except like it's a smoked tofu. It's easy to fry, you don't have to do the work. But however, if you feel, okay, I got time, I'd like to press my tofu for a few days before I start cooking it, and yeah, you can do that. I do that sometimes when I do like a tofu, like a recipe, that require like liquid, if that makes sense. Because this one is like a dryish, so that's why I chose this kind of tofu. Now you can cut it this way, you can cut it this way. You don't need it thick enough, just about think of like steak. When you cut this tofu, make sure your knife is sharp, safe, and then you cut it into equally for steak. And I'll leave that for a moment. Just gotta check the couscous now. Hopefully it's coming along. Now once the couscous will be solid, like I said, that's why you go slowly. You can have a bigger, I got another one just in case, but seems alright here. Oh, look at that. I'm gonna take the lemon, because I show you, say, a squeeze. So when the water goes in, I can squeeze more juice into that lemon. Okay. So I stir it very nicely. Now normally I would add like herbs with the couscous, and if I'm just eating couscous, but because I'm doing the coriander dressing, I didn't add anything. So you can, it goes nice with coriander, fresh. You can go with parsley as well. Remember, if it's too dry, sometimes the couscous, because it hasn't been enough water. If it's too wet, becomes stodgy, it's just too much water. It's like, think of like how you cook your rice. So what I did with this, I measure amount of water. I need about, let's say, 200 ml. I add the water, I add the couscous till I can see the couscous right peeking at the top. Then I stir it, I turn it off and let it to rest. And what I add, a little bit of oil and to fluff it. So I don't know whether you can see it, how it's fluffing beautifully. So now what I'm gonna do, just taste it one more time. And I'll let it to rest while I'm doing the couscous. The tofu. Oh, this is yummy. This is super yummy. And the same, when you cook couscous, don't worry if it's a bit too much. It goes with everything. You can do some halloumi, you can do paneer cheese, you can do some fish, you can do some chicken. You can do so much with it. I'm gonna add a little bit of oil and let it soak a little bit more. And then of course, you can just add extra vegetables to it and eat it when you're ready. So when I check the vegetables, there's only the tofu now to do. Oh, look at that. It's starting to come up nicely. If you have any question, you're gonna wait about 5 minutes before I start the tofu. It doesn't take time. I'm gonna check if there's any questions or any comment in there. So please leave some comment for me and I'm happy to answer them back at some point. And like I said, I'm recording this cooking now as well, so they will be uploaded on my YouTube channel. It's JC Yogi, you can follow me there, and I will try to upload it on the YouTube, on the Instagram as well, and there of course the video there, and you can see it again on the Rasa Yoga website and Facebook page, and of course you can see it again on my Facebook page, which is JC Yogi. So there's a lot of platforms that you can see the recipe again, just in case you think, oh, I didn't have the recipe, I didn't have the ingredients. So you can go back and get the ingredients. And to be honest, if I want to work out the cost of this recipe, I mean, the tofu was mainly the most expensive things. The fennel was on offer. I got the fennel, the baby courgette was on offer. Stem broccoli was on offer. So I got them like a 3 for 2, mix and match. The tofu as well, sometimes on offer for about £2. Couscous for about £1 you can buy. And not even that. And this is like, I don't know how much is this one, 200 grams plus basically. Yeah, I still have a little bit left and I have enough more than 4 people cooking. So this recipe all in all might cost you about £8 and it's serviced 4 people. That's a lot in there. You know, you can do that. Okay, so now the vegetables start to get nicely. Now the tofu. When you cook your tofu, you need to cook it fairly quick on a high heat. Turn it around a few times. Of course, adding oil afterwards. You don't want to burn your oil as well. Even though I'm not using olive oil, I'm using the rapeseed oil. You know, this is a cold pressed olive oil basically, but it is a super high and for kind of like cooking, so it doesn't burn. Otherwise, what happens, the oil burn, it becomes unpleasant flavor. Yeah, you don't want that. And of course, normally I'll marinate something, but I don't want to marinate this coriander because that coriander will burn. It's a fresh coriander. I want to keep it nicely. So I'm going to put the tofu down. The same, you can char grill it if you have the griddle. And then I'm going to add drizzle. I mean, you can. Some people like it raw. You know, it is cooked actually, it's smoked. There's no problem. And then while it's doing a bit of oil, a bit of pepper, and salt. I'm gonna take that board back there because I don't need it now. I'm gonna bring my plate, ready for serving soon. So give it about maybe like not even a minute and a half on each side. I'm gonna keep turning it until you see nicely kind of like brown. It's coming along. And remember, it could be dry. You might need a little bit more oil. That's sizzling beautifully. And always cook it on a high heat. And if you have an oven with like, or a hob with a high ring, don't put it in a small ring, don't put it in low heat because it's a smoke, the waters come out, you don't want the water to come out more from it. So that's why on a very high heat. And don't worry, the smell in your house is going to be lovely. You know, at the back of my eyes, I can see, like the back of my head, I can see people like drooling over the food now. They're ready to eat soon. Now I'm using a ring. You don't have to use a ring for a little bit of presentation. And just to put the couscous in there, you can just blow up the couscous. Just a little bit of presentation, that's all. And hopefully it will hold, that's the whole idea. Because normally, it might not, but I'm sure it will. It has a nicely done there. You can put your couscous in the middle, or you can put your couscous on the side. But I'm going to put it in the middle, put my tofu steak on top, and the vegetable around, and drizzle everything with the amazing juice. I'm going to put that aside now. Yeah, that's coming. Yes. And my ring is a little bit, what do you call it, corrugated ring. It's not a straight ring, but it do the trick. The whole idea is the concept, even though it's fluff around it, you can see like it's like a cutter actually, more than a ring, but it's okay. The idea is there to make it as presentable. You know, it's super important to eat food as well with your eyes. Remember, this is all about the rasa as well. Okay, tofu's done. Take that aside, keep it there. I'm going to check the vegetable, I think it's done as well. Oh, look at that smell. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the mushroom on top. I'm going to put one of the tofu steak on top. That's beautifully assembled. Then I'm going to start to put some nice vegetables as you fancy, the color you like, around the plate, as long as you have enough vegetables in there. So a couple of fennel, a little bit pepper, a little bit onion, some of the courgette. Wow, look at that. This is a super yummy, healthy dinner for you. A little bit more onion, because onion is good. So now this is already done, and I got coriander, drizzle around A little bit on top of the tofu. And voila. Super easy, super healthy tofu steak, flat mushroom, nice vegetables, Mediterranean couscous.